Hi, John here. So, got some thoughts. Let's read Proverbs. Just read it through and no commentaries and see what when we read the scriptures, when we read these verses out of Proverbs, um, what do they say? I mean, what's our first impression? And that's all I'm here to do. Let's say we're just going to read each proverb and I'm just going to give you my impression of what it's being said. Uh, uh, no extra biblical, inputs. Just a straightforward reading because, I think most people, everyday average common person, when they read the scriptures, they just have to allow God to speak to them. A lot of times people don't have that pastor or that scriptural scholar at hand. They just have to read it and allow the Word of God to speak to them. That's one of the things that anybody who is a Bible believing a Christian knows that sometimes you just don't have people around, and you just got to allow God to show you what He wants you to hear. So with that, here are some of my thoughts, and I'm going to just read through Proverbs chapter 1, verse 1, and we're just going to take a few verses at a time, and I'll give you a few ideas of what I think it says. And that's my dog. There must be someone outside. Stranger danger dog, a good dog. But anyways, Proverbs chapter 1, verse 1, and I'm going to be reading out of the New American Standard Bible. It's the most word for word translation out there, I would say. So, verse 1, the Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel, to know wisdom and instruction, to discern the sayings of understanding, to receive instruction in wise behavior, righteousness, justice, and equality or equity. To give prudence to the naive, to the young knowledge and discretion. A wise man will hear and increase in learning, and a man of understanding will acquire wise counsel. To understand a proverb and a figure, the words of the wise and their riddles. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and instruction. So those are the first 7 verses. So let's kind of look at those and see what they might say to us. So first of all, we see Solomon is the one who is writing this stuff. He was the son of David, who was the king of Israel. And, a little background about Solomon. He had a dream where God spoke to him, and the thing that he wanted most was not riches or gold or fame or fortune, but he wanted wisdom in order to better govern, more or less, or lead the people of Israel. And God loved that response and gave him wisdom, and on top of that, gave him everything else. So, to know wisdom and instructions, to discern the sayings of understanding. So, right away, Solomon is just telling us that there are phrases, there are sentences, there are ideas of understanding, what the world is all about, what God's will is. And wisdom helps us to discern that stuff, to decipher it, in order so that we could put it into practice in a very real way. As Christians, that's what we're called to do, to be authentic with God's Word. And sometimes the culture around us, or we grew up with certain ideas, and sometimes we have to eject those ideas because they were born out of a broken understanding. So in verse 3, to receive instructions in wise behavior. Wow, that's huge. Wise behavior, not foolish behavior. And that's what he's going to do. He's going to say, this is wise behavior and this is foolish behavior when you read the Proverbs. And and in doing so, Proverbs usually tells us that if you do wise behavior as opposed to foolish behavior, you'll lead a better life. You'll lead a happier life, a blessed life. Uh, you'll avoid dangers. You'll avoid things that can cause you harm if you act wisely, if you have wise behavior. And he talks about to receive instruction in wise behavior, righteousness, which is, is with Christians, that which is right in the eyes of God, in right standing with God. Justice, and justice is in today's culture, very kind of subjective thing. It's they have these people who talk about social justice. Is that an adverb or an adjective that justice doesn't need an extra word. Justice is justice. It's equality under the law for every human being. That it doesn't matter who you are. In today's culture, it's all about pigmentation of your skin or some kind of orientation or ethnic background or religious background. Justice is not concerned with that stuff. Equal justice is equal justice. It doesn't take into account all these other factors. You break the law, you break the law. You steal, whether you're rich or you're poor, you have to, justice must be meted out. And you shouldn't, show favoritism to one group of people over another. That's what justice is. And then it says, and equity. Now, that is a loaded term in today's culture. And the social justice movement that we have in our culture today says equity is equal outcome. And that's what we are to strive for. Now this, when you pursue equal outcome, you discriminate. It should be equal opportunity or equality under the law. No one should be able to bribe, or a judge should not, look down upon someone because of a certain social, economic, religious, or ethnic background. So equity is across the board. Everyone is equal under the law. And it's not about, these people are more equal than others. It should never be about that. To give prudence to the naive. So, in other words, those who are, young, naive, who are don't understand the ways of the world and how broken and corrupt it is, and how people will take advantage of you if you don't have a certain amount of experience, a certain amount of knowledge. And there are people out there that will do that. Older people who are smarter. Intelligence doesn't mean, good. Intelligence might mean evil. People use their God-given abilities for good, and they use them for evil. And so you have to have prudence. If someone comes to you with a proposition, you have to weigh it. A prudence is a weighing. Is what they're saying true? Don't just buy into it. You got to think about it. You have to go ask questions to someone who has a little bit more life experience, or you maybe need to research something. So prudence is about just this, putting on the brakes a little bit and taking, things with a grain of salt. Don't be naive. To the youth, knowledge and discretion. So, knowledge helps us to avoid things that are not good, or embrace things that are good. You can know that cyanide is poisonous, therefore you don't take cyanide. You don't have to experience something in order to know something. I know cyanide is poisonous, therefore I will not take, and that knowledge keeps me from, killing myself. And be discretion, sometimes, you don't need to let everybody know everything. Sometimes it's just good to hold back a little bit, or a lot, so discretion is a good thing. Discretion is the better part of valor, I think. I don't know if that's a saying, but I think I heard it. But, you got to be discreet about some stuff and know when to be and know when not to be. A wise man will hear and increase in learning. So this is an important part. The old saying, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth, do more listening than speaking. So take things in. Don't be quick to, express your opinion. Hold back a little bit. A man of understanding will acquire wise counsel. In other words, listen. Listen to those who have more life experience. Sometimes, those people may be stunted emotionally and might not be wise, but, figure out, listen to the people who are saying good things or bad things, and then go to the good people and avoid the bad things that people are saying. To understand a proverb and a figure. So, proverbs and parables, Jesus spoke in parables, take amount of concentration. They take amount of just, mulling it over, taking your time. You don't have to have the answers right away. Sit back, evaluate, figure things out. There are a lot of intelligent people out there that can just, rattle off, understanding, because they have that quick mind. Not everybody has a quick mind. So don't be, discouraged because you don't have a quick mind. I don't have a quick mind. It takes me some time to figure things out when someone says something to me that I don't quite understand. And sometimes it takes a couple days just to ruminate on something. So when a proverb or a figure of speech or something come, the words of the wise and their riddles, sit back. Don't worry about getting the answer right away. I know we have this microwave mentality where we got to have instantaneous satisfaction for all things, including, knowledge. But that's not real life. That's not real people's brains. We all have our limitations. Most of us are in a certain area. There are people that are super smart that don't have those limitations. There are people that are, kind of not, and they need more time. I think I'm sometimes in that spectrum over there, or I need more time. And I like verse 7 here. It says, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. This is an amazing statement. The world likes to say, gain knowledge. And it does. It has knowledge out there. I'm not saying it doesn't have knowledge out there. But the understanding of that knowledge and where it comes from is the most foundational to it is the fear of the Lord. To revere the Creator God. To understand that, like gravity, when you're on a high building, keeps me from the edge of that building because I fear gravity. I know the consequences of gravity if, I get too close to the edge. And sometimes we have to have that reverence and that fear of the Lord. He is the one who will judge us finally. He is the one who we will stand before. When we shed this mortal coil, when we die, we will be in the presence of our God. So fear the Lord. Learn what He wants. Learn His ways. And He will, if you seek God with all your heart in earnest, He will reveal Himself to you. He's not a God who hides. Fools despise wisdom and instruction. Meaning, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. But those who don't fear the Lord, they despise wisdom and instruction. There might be some smart people out there, that might have just a wealth of knowledge. They have one of those, didactic memories, or, where they read something, they memorize it, and they have it, and they hold it. But if they don't fear the Lord, sometimes they're just foolish, So this is the beginning of Proverbs chapter 1. I'm going to end it right now, first 7 verses, and we'll pick this up with verse 8, chapter 1, and we'll just go ahead and talk some more about what the Proverbs have to say to us. So those are my thoughts. Just an average, everyday, person living in the United States of America who has had some life experience. Don't claim to be, the all-wise and wonderful person. I'm just a simple person trying to read the Bible and see what it has to say to me, and hopefully it says something to you. God bless you. May the Lord keep you and watch over you.